My name is Brendan, and I'd like to start today by acknowledging the Taronga people who are the traditional custodians of the land. For tens of thousands of years, Aboriginal people have understood the relationship between the land and its wildlife. And we here at Taronga feel very proud to learn from Aboriginal people today, which is pretty cool because we all live in different places, but every day we have an opportunity to see beautiful birds that are all around us. And all we have to do is look up. Now I tell you what, we don't need to crane our necks straight away because we're going to actually look down, searching at an item you may be familiar with. Maybe not. It is the thick shell. It is an egg. It's a thick shell of an emu egg. And the bird that's going to be joining us today looking for this item is our black-breasted buzzard. They go by the name of Waru. And here we go. And even though they do have sharp talons and a sharp beak, oh yeah, that is not enough to get inside this item. And this is the help of a tool. And that's a rock. Nice. What you're witnessing though is not something that we ever had to train Waru to do. It is instinct. They hatched out of their own egg with this knowledge already in their minds. And with this item here being the equivalent of around a dozen chicken eggs for a hawk of this size, they'll keep on working at it. Whoa, getting close. Until they get inside. Nearly there, mate. Yeah, well done. Yeah, give him a round of applause. They're good. Now, if you're like me, when we think of tool use, generally we think of humans and other primates. We're seeing a Waru achieve their goal today. Pretty exciting. Oops, you fixed it. And perhaps after witnessing that, you may think, hey, I've got a little bit more in common with birds than previously thought. The black-breasted buzzard, though, that is a type of hawk you're going to find in this country. The next bird is going to look a little bit like a hawk, but is actually something altogether different. It's a type of owl. Now, we've got 8 species here in Australia. And the one that I'd like to introduce you to gets its name, so it vocalizes very much like a dog. It is called the barking owl. And if you are anything like me, sometimes you might feel like you're being watched. And that's because owls are everywhere, whether it be in the country or even right here in the city. Yeah, they're going to come back. Get ready. So this barking owl is called Ripley. And they hunt during the day. In fact, around half of our species regularly hunt in daylight. It's all about what they like to eat. And these birds, well, they eat other birds. In fact, their feet are so large and so powerful, they can even take down birds that are bigger than themselves. Get ready! Yay! But as night falls, these birds will look to hunt other things, like mice and rats, maybe even a possum, before returning to the safe branch to rest. Hey, you may have noticed those birds.
Mitchell, sit down. There's a big bird coming from your back.
Today, as we said, twice as many neck bones as us. We have 7, they've got 14. It does give them a very different view of the world, which is ace, because I tell you what, as night falls, they will start to hunt other things, including introduced species like rats and mice. Rats and mice, they can cause all kinds of problems for our native wildlife, often taking young chicks and eggs right out of the nest. So I'm happy to say it's not really something we have to worry about. More so because we did used to have a bit of a rat problem. We did, being completely honest with you, but the owls moved in, the rats moved out. I can easily say that problem is behind us now. It's great. I'm glad to see you're excited about it. We are too. We haven't seen hide nor hair of those rats in such a long time. Some days used to be so bad that even running right.
Then I can't see birds.
It was rat,
Okay.
not bird.
But the birds we have seen so far, both of them are Australian natives. And hopefully the next bird goes to prove that no matter where you are in the world, you do have the opportunity to connect with birds. The next hails from South America. It's believed by the Inca culture influence lift the sun into the sky daily, being able to do so for it has 3 meters worth of wings. I am referring to the Andean condor. If you cast your eyes in this direction, oh, we're not going to be bringing out the Andean condor just yet, because one of our rats is still out, and the circle of life is a very important lesson, but not something we want to show graphically today. We're still missing one. If any of you do happen to spot it, I won't get you to get too excited because that could be intimidating for them, but feel free just to point them out for me. Now, these rats are actually, I think there should have been 3 of them altogether. They are veterans of our show. They're coming in around 3 years of age now, which is pretty long for a rat. Oh, they're all secure? Awesome. That's good. I've got a meal for our condor and it wasn't supposed to be done. So we can move on to our Andean condor with our 3 rats being secure. They get as much training and care as all our other animals, including that one. Good reaction. Everyone, this is Kinera, and they do this, being that they are a vulture. Now, Kinera, she feeds on the dead, and in doing so assists us by helping to reduce the spread of disease. But with such a messy lifestyle, they can make eating the dead a clean job by having what looks like a bald head. It's not bald though, it's covered in small hair like feathers, and it does mean any muck that gets on it simply dries and flakes on off, so they don't have any health issues themselves. Now unfortunately, over the last couple of decades, vulture populations have dropped quite dramatically by 90 to 99% in some cases. This means other scavengers come in, but they can't do the job as well, so we've become susceptible to diseases like anthrax and rabies. But if we know beautiful birds like Kinera out there looking after us, we can do everything we can to look after them to make sure they don't just simply disappear. Kinera Andean condor, everybody. I like it. So definitely an exotic bird, but not the only exotic bird that I'd like to share with you. The next, you may have already seen as you walked around Taronga today. But to see a bird like an Andean condor, especially in the wild, you're going to have to get on a plane or a boat. The next bird's taken all the hassle out of it. They've done the travelling for us. The bird I'm referring to is none other than the humble chicken. Ours goes by the name of Mentari. And when they're good and ready, they're going to make their way down the stage. Yeah! Such bravado! So Mentari is a red jungle fowl. They come from Southeast Asia. And this species is the ancestor to all of our modern day breeds of chicken. In the last 8,000 years, they've had a pretty big impact on us, on our rituals, our religions, our culture, and even so far as our languages. So, hello hens, you may relate to Mentari here ruling the roost, or perhaps you may feel you have more in common with our hens. A mother hen watching her young fly the coop, or depending upon the day, you might go ahead and put all of your eggs into one basket. Regardless of how you choose to perceive life, it is undoubtable that when it comes to birds like Mentari here, that they have had a pretty big impact on us. So much so that they really do outnumber us 6-1, allowing that everyday connection.
The chicken ran away.
Speaking of everyday connections, especially in Australia, knowing that we have 50 species of parrots, I really can't move past them for an everyday connection in this country. So much so, we even get a nickname, that being the land of parrots. This means for many of us, all we have to do is take a step out into our own backyards to experience these beautiful birds that are all around us. You're probably quite familiar with sulphur-crested cockatoos, but you may be less familiar with our pink cockatoo Pondalawi perched over there. Sometimes confused with galahs, they are a different species altogether. There they go. And while sulphur-crested cockatoos are flourishing, with there being extra food and water resources, unfortunately the same can't be said for all of our parrots. For Look at them go. These birds used to be found more so on the other side of the Great Dividing Range, but with extra food and water resources, they've flourished. I would like to spend a little bit more time focusing on this bird though. They are a male red-tailed black cockatoo. Their name is Giri, which means red. And you might appreciate this as they're flying above your heads. As we expand our towns and cities though, we are making many changes to the landscape. And unfortunately, not all birds are able to adapt to these impacts. Many birds, including those like Giri, do rely on old hollows and trees to make their safe home. Here, they can nest and thrive. Yeah. So I mentioned his name is Giri, it means red, or if you say Giri, it means very red. We do not have any wild red tails that call Taronga home, but we are so lucky to have many other plant and animal species that do. So we can honestly say that Taronga is habitat. To help us out with this last part of our experience today, we're going to be joined by 2 more red tails, this time females. And we already have 2 volunteers picked out that are going to be habitat for our birds. Their names are Akia and Monotoka. So they're currently over there with Matthew at the moment on the far side of the field. You'll be able to appreciate how beautiful they are. And for those on the far side of the field, you may be able to appreciate those black bodies. Looking a bit different to Giris, covered in yellow dots. Hands up for me. There you go. Just my volunteer. There we go. Okay, can you stay still? There you go. Well done. We've got 2 of them, so we need to make sure we have 2 branches. Best tree I've seen today. Now, Heikia and Monotoka, they are named after different types of trees you are going to find in their habitat. So it's a really good reminder of the link these animals have with the ecosystems they're a part of. For those of you that are closer, you may notice they are dropping seeds on the ground. So if you get a reputation for being messy eaters, this is really important. Anything they drop has a chance to grow again and hopefully allow our forests to be refurbished. Right, one more time. There we go. A bit higher, for me. Yeah. And across your body again, so stay nice and still. So it can take around 150 years for a hollow to form in a tree. We sometimes chop them down because they're unsafe for us. This means less homes for them and more hurdles to overcome. Thanks so much, that's amazing. You can take a seat. Thank you. Now, if you would like to put up a nest box in your own backyard, you can. Here's an example of an artificial one, just on that black speaker pole. Underneath there's an orange and yellow sign.
Me too.
Scan that QR code. It'll give you all the information you need to put one up in your own backyard. Or just jump onto the La Trobe University website. Nice. A big round of applause for our volunteers for helping us out. You're perfect. Putting up a nest box, that is a take-home action if you choose. We also have this donation box. It was introduced over a decade ago, and since then you've raised over $500,000, all of which go into our conservation efforts, including helping the region's honey eater fish on the front. If you would like to, come on down, make a donation. Anyone that donates $5 or more gets a special badge as our way of saying thank you. With your efforts, we really can transform the outcomes for these birds. Speaking of transforming though, it is Transformers Month here at Taronga Zoo. So kids, if you haven't already, pick up an awesome map and check out the Transformers Beast Power Trail on your visit today. Because it really is with your help that we can create a new future. One in which we can work together and all of our planet's extraordinary beasts can make a comeback. All you gotta do, for today at least, is look up. Thank you so much for joining us at Free Fly Birds. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one. Yeah. If you do need it, there is water at the top of the theatre. It's a warm day.
Yeah. You need to watch the birds want to do. Birds already fly. I can't catch them now. Look. Last year निकल आएंगे.